convert your personal stories into premium client conversations, right? We are talking about high ticket business, high value business, high ticket clients, right? So it becomes a mandatory thing for you to do this. So let's begin here. So as I said, the topic is 3 steps to turn personal stories into premium client conversations. And you see the subheading which I have given here, the uncopyable you, the uncopyable story, the uncopyable experience. This has been my, USP, where I talk about you being your only differentiator, right? Remember, you are your only differentiator. Nobody can copy you. People can copy your maybe content, your images and your style, but nobody can copy your story. Remember that. So now let's begin with the hard truth. Every coach, everybody here out, everybody is here, looking for a potential client, and you are into conversation in some way or the other, direct or indirect. Even posting is a type of conversation which you are trying to do, right? Or a DM, right? But you know what happens is, you see a lot of people, make a distance. So you think why they are not getting convinced. I'm doing such a quality content. I'm, writing or sending such a quality message. I know I can help them. But nobody talks about the problem. What it is, the problem is not your expertise. The problem is not your price. The problem is not even your offer. The problem is that you are sounding exactly like somebody else. On the social media, everybody is sounding similar. That's the problem. Now the person who is sitting in front of you, he cannot differentiate between A, B, C, D to S, because everybody is sounding the same. Everybody is talking the same language. And the truth is, your premium clients, if you are sounding like somebody else, will not buy from you unless and until they feel you to be somebody different. Correct? Because premium clients are not looking for the most qualified people and coaches across the globe. They are looking for somebody who is really able to connect with them. Correct? And how they are going to connect with them? Again, my favorite thing is story. Correct? Your story. And I'm here to talk about something. What a story does is, I have a statement which I say stories are the primary programming language of your brain. Right? You must have seen in my comments as well. Most of the time I write this. Stories, because since our childhood, we had been told stories. So by default, our mind listens to the stories. We think in terms of stories. Correct? We dream in terms of stories, isn't it? We remember in terms of stories, whether it is a childhood frame, we did something together when we are, in 10th class. That is a story. So stories become the prima facie programming language of the brain because it relates faster. And that is what is the uniqueness which you have to bring. And that is why I told you the topic is how you convert your personal stories into premium client conversation. Now, let's understand, what do you mean by premium conversation? There are different conversations. Every time we are doing some kind of a conversation. What do you mean by premium conversation? So premium conversation is not a sales conversation. Remember, you are not trying to convince anybody. You are not, pitching something, and you are not sharing a script. Simple. A premium conversation means that your client feels so deeply connected with you that he feels that this person knows me like in and out of what I'm looking for, what I'm going through. And they are not here to, ask about the price. They should be so much connected and already sold that they come to you saying, hey, tell me how we can start working. That is what I mean by premium conversation, right? Fair? That is what you need to do. So a premium conversation has 3 unmistakable qualities, what it should be. Number 1, trust before transaction. Correct? I have always been talking about building trust. If the trust has been built, people will automatically say yes. Correct? So how this trust will happen before transaction? By the stories again. Maybe they have read your stories. They've seen your journey. They know how you have, handled the situations, how you have gone through the journey, and they have already connected you. And they have seen how you have solved some problem which they are going through. That is kind of a story which they connect with. Fair? Second is resonance over resume. So they don't care about your certifications, how much qualified you are. They care about what kind of a transformation you have brought to yourself as well as to your clients. That is what they're looking for. They're least bothered about your degrees and other certificates. And third, invitation, not persuasion. The conversation should not be ending with saying, okay, now let's begin with something. Let them say, yes, I'm ready to start with. So it should be like an invitation, not persuasion. You don't have to persuade. Persuasion normally happens when you are willing to sell something. I'm saying do not persuade, just invite them. So that's the power of premium conversation. And here's are the some secret ingredients that makes it possible for you, right? And what is that secret ingredient? Your personal story. It's just you and your personal story. So why personal stories are your ultimate differentiator? Simple, because you have lived it. I'm not going to read through. That is going to be, everybody talks about the same promises, same outcomes, similar type of frameworks, right? Similar types of results, testimonials. But what differentiates you is you, as I told you in the beginning. You are your biggest differentiator, isn't it? Nobody else could be, replacing you. So your story is the only thing in your business which is 100% uncopyable. That's what my point is. 100% uncopyable. Nobody has lived that journey which you have lived. As simple as that. Correct? Nobody has survived those failures which you have. Simple. So whatever way you have come out, that's your way. That's your way, and that is what people are gonna connect with. So why personal stories work? Because stories triggers your emotional memory. I'm telling you again, same thing. People forget whatever facts you are sharing, whether it is an industry fact or any, social media fact, but they'll never forget how you have made them feel. If you have told a story, they definitely will feel it. Second is, stories create identity mirroring. What I mean by identity mirroring is when your audience sees themselves in your shoes, in your past struggles, in your way, how you have believed, in your belief system. That is how identity mirroring is, because your audience is mirroring you. Remember, that builds the trust. Then third is, it establishes authority without arrogance. When you share story, instead of saying, I'm the best, I'm the king of the jungle, you don't have to say that. What you have to say is, yes, I have lived it. And your audience is not fool. They are all literate people. They understand. So indirectly and powerfully, you are putting your authority without even saying that I'm arrogant. And you don't have to show arrogance. You have to just show your authority. As simple as that. And stories create organic trust. I always talk about ads and organic, right? Marketing. Organic, what it does, it creates multiple stories for somebody to remember you. And in marketing, it is already told that you need to have minimum 9 to 11 touches. I always quote this as well. You need to have 9 to 11 touches for somebody to remember you. Remember? So when you share multiple stories, people remember you. Correct? And last but not to this is algorithm proof. Whatever the algorithm is doing and has done will do. It is foolproof, actually. No platform can change and take away the impact of a good storytelling. These are the reasons why your stories will work. Correct? Now the 3-step framework which I'm going to tell you is, number 1 is the uncopyable you. Who you are is your brand foundation. That is your first step. The most underused asset in your business is your identity. I always told about you. When you talk about yourself, don't talk about the normal results. Yes, they would be a part of your content, but talk about where the differentiator plays the important role, not the normal, subject matter. Club that subject matter and the result with you. Remember, I'm telling you, be present in your content all the time. Correct? So people, the headline says the people don't just buy results, they buy into people. Premium clients especially, they pay for who they are going to become by getting into, your network or your community or your paid program. Correct? Second is, so I have given my examples as that, my stories are, I'll tell you 2 very unique stories of mine, which is really, really, outstanding, and people do connect with me. The 2 stories are, one, during COVID, I sold my house. That has become my flagship story. Everywhere I talk about it. At time, I was feeling shy and, literally, I was feeling like crying to share that I did this. But now this has become my most powerful story. And second, one of my dreams. My dream was to go back to my college and hire students for my company, which I did. In 2022, I went back to my engineering college. I did a 2 days event. I interviewed students and I hired for my company. So that's a dream. That's a dream, going into your own college after 20 years and hiring students for your own company. Isn't it something different which normally people don't do? Correct? So these are two things which have, come out of my life. And again, there are so many things other than that, but these are the two prominent things which I always share with my, audience and my network. So what I'm saying is, these stories create a different kind of an impact. Correct? So my examples are there. I'm not going to show you. So what you have to do is your action steps. See, I don't teach theory. You always know about me. I want you to do something. So what is that step one? You have to write 3 sentences about who you are beyond your coaching niche. As I told you, I gave you 2 of things. I do have 2 more I can share, 2 or even more. So write 3 sentences about yourself beyond your coaching niche, what you are doing, which is unique for yourself. Include maybe one belief, one personal value, and one thing you have never compromised, or one story which you can share like this, like what I'm sharing it, right? That is one thing that becomes your identity anchor. Okay, done. That's your first step. Write 3 sentences about yourself, which only you know about yourself, and that is uncopyable, and make it a strength out of that particular 3 things. Right? Done. That is step number 1. That will create your uniqueness. Now let's talk about step number 2. Your uncopyable unique story, which is the struggle which nobody has done. That struggle and how you have created a roadmap out of that struggle, and you have solved that problem. Again, your problem nobody else has gone through. There would be similar, but not the same. Correct? So what you have to do is your story, which nobody else can talk about. Only you are there to talk about it. Because people don't hire coaches who have never struggled. Remember, you have to share your struggle story, right? So people hire coaches who have survived a similar kind of a struggle which they are in, and they relate it faster. And how you have come out of it, that is the other out of the system. That is how people connect with it, right? So again, if you want to know the anatomy, which is what were you doing before, then what was the moment which cracked or broke you something, how did you build, and what happened after that. So this could be the 4 steps where you can talk about it. The before and the after story, we call it, right? Again, I have given my example. And now, second step is, one step I have already given you. The second step is write your transformation arc in 150 words or less. You must have gone through certain challenges, right? How you have overcome. Write your transformation journey in 150 words or less, correct? Include how did you feel when the lowest point was there, what was your turning point, and what was the result when you did all this, right? That is step number 2. So this story becomes a foundation of your lead magnet, your about page, and anything else where you want to use it. That's the power of this step number 2. And then the third step is the uncopyable your experience, right? What you built is a proof nobody can argue with. Now, when you have done all this, you have shared your challenges, you have obviously came out with a solution. That solution becomes a proof of what you have done earlier. Fair? So the experience which you have got is not your resume, it's your evidence. The evidence that you have done it before. Correct? So step 1 was what about who you are. Second was what happened to you. And third is what about what you built because of it. You face a problem, you found a solution, and you built something out of it. This is where most of the coaches leave serious money on the table, because they are not able to connect. If you're not sharing all this, you're not able to connect your premium clients. Premium clients are not looking for, simple coaching programs. They're looking to connect with somebody who has already done it. Remember, that's the thing. So these are the 3 things. And now I'm gonna give you step number 3, which is write 3 sentences about the experience that are only possible because of your unique journey. So sentence 1 is what you learned the hard way that others paid to understand. Second, what you have built that proves your system works. And third, what your experience allowed you to do for clients that nobody else can do. Correct? So this acts as a proof layer. That's it. So put all these 2 things together and that becomes your premium conversation blueprint. That's it. Fair? No, that's a summary of what I have done. So this is, and
So last point, all the 3 questions.
Yes, tell me.
Alok sir, last step, 3 questions.
Last 3 1. What you learned the hard way that others paid to understand. Second is what you have built that proves your system works. And third, what your experience allows you to do for clients that nobody else can. Something exclusive, something different. Okay? Should I zoom it? Then Dipanshuji?
Are you going to share this again in the group, sir?
If you want, I'll share it. No issues.
Better. It will be helpful for us to refer to it whenever we need to do it.
Sure. I'll do that.